Alright, so if you guys didn't know in the chat, we're doing a coaching session for plants. A gold 4 Zyra player.
I'm plat 3 in flex, but I haven't finished my placements yet.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
flex. We don't talk about that. That doesn't exist.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you want me to look at? Or do you just want me just dive straight in kind of thing?
Um, just straight in, and I think I wrote in the Discord channel as well. If possible, it would be great to have an idea of itemization on Zyra, because with all of the new items, I don't really know the not necessarily the gold efficiency, but because I can look up the cost, but the synergies between the items and when to get what.
I mean, we can do that. We can start looking into that right now because I was going to say one of the first things what I was doing looking when I just saw those Zyra games, it was
Yeah.
kind of like, what the hell are you buying? So we
Yeah.
can address that. Like we should probably address that kind of right now, and then we might not need to talk about it too much when we're actually in the game.
Okay.
Um, if you're playing any AP support, I'd just say like it's pretty much mandatory to do Zizak at the moment, the purple one, where if you hit the enemy team, it does a bit of magic damage and percent health damage. So
Okay.
I'll try and show that on my client.
I know which one it is. I have I
Yeah,
took
this one
a
here.
break. Yeah. I took a break from playing ranked, from playing League at all, from playing anything for like 8 months, and now I'm coming back and it's like I'm completely starting from zero. I played initially because I kept watching the streams. I picked the Zac, but I found that I fed a lot.
Okay.
And of course that is positioning, but I feel like Celestial helps me mitigate some of my bad positioning, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I know it's better on Zyra, but for me, the reason why I'm picking Celestial is because of the
Okay. So
yeah.
that's not let's fix your bad positioning then, and then you can actually take the appropriate items rather than.
Okay.
But let's not like be defeatist straight away in that mindset. So let's get the items that are gonna let you do what you need to do as Zyra, and in not every game, but a good chunk of those games, it is going to be your damage. I think Zizak in particular is really important on Zyra, is because there will be a lot of situations where you're just doing QW in order to spawn a range plant just to do a tiny bit of harassment.
Yeah.
And Zizak will proc that, and then you'll have like Leandries and stuff. So just putting item procs on enemy champions is super efficient and easy in Zyra. Pretty safe. And this is like the only way you can really output decent damage to make that worth it. Otherwise the poke won't really do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So every game from now on, I want you to take Zizaks. And this is like something Giga Change, which I'll always mention in the patches. At the moment, just go Zizak. I've lost your profile. Let me bring it back up.
Okay.
Then it looks like you're going Raleigh second item.
Yeah, it's cheap and it helps me land my skill shots better. Again, I'm just taking into account the fact that I'm garbage right now because I haven't played, so I lost the ability to hit my skill shots.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
yeah,
taking Raleigh's on Zyra is okay, especially if you're behind. I think it's like
right.
when you, so in the situations I'm talking about, in terms of like most games, you're there to do the damage. The other portion is you're there to do crowd control, because you've died a lot in lane and your damage output is never going to be there. Then you can concede and go, okay, I'm not having a good game. I can go Raleigh's. But I would only go Raleigh's second item no sooner than that. I think you need to still go down the path line of I'm going to have at least some damage to be relevant this game, rather than going, okay, I have Raleigh's, I'm going to slow occasionally a bit here extra with my ranged plants because the melee plants are already slow. And that's about it really. I think you lose too much power, overall raw damage power, if you go Raleigh's. And the extra utility that Rylai's brings isn't massive. So slows, for example, only the largest slow is applied. And hopefully I'm remembering this correctly, the melee lashes, each individual one of those does a 25% slow, I think, stacking up to 50%, or it could be a 30% up to 60%. We can double check it when we get into game. But I remember that this Rylai's really doesn't, this Rylai's doesn't add anything if you've got basically a melee plant up anyway, if they're getting hit by a melee plant. So it's only really going to affect if you like land your Q or Q range plant hits, and the slow duration isn't massive anyway there anyway. So I would say, like, if you are losing lane or are feeling really bad about your gameplay, only take Rylai's second.
Right.
I think you can still go like Leandry's first item, like pretty much every game. I don't see a reason to not go Leandry's first every single game. Sock shoes is good. So for me, it would be like the first couple of items would be Zazak's, Sock shoes, Leandry's. Never buy Storm Surge on Zyra, or actually at all on any ranged. They nerfed it all, twice. I'd say it was like okay, maybe very early 13.1, 14.1, sorry. They've nerfed it twice. It's really only viable, in my opinion, on melee, because it has better scaling if you're melee. If you're ranged, the scaling's worse. So, and also if you're going already like into Rylai's, so your damage isn't going to be as high as Leandry's, it's going to be even harder to proc the Storm Surge, where you have to do a percentage amount of damage to the enemy in order for it to even proc in the first place. So procking Storm Surge with the items that you've got here in your inventory is going to be really, really difficult. So I wouldn't buy that at all. Your best options are Leandry's is basically mandatory. Rylai's is a fine little flex item that we're talking about, like in terms of defensive if you're doing bad. If you're doing well, things like Shadow Flame are quite good, so that gives you crit if they're below a certain amount of HP. But it also works on like Leandry's burn. I believe it works on the Zazak proc. It works, I think your plants benefit more from the crit as well. For some reason, they've let pets do more damage with the Shadow Flame. I think it's like an extra 10%.
Okay.
So,
for some reason.
yeah.
In my mind, Shadow Flame was good against team comps that had shields because
that was last season, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
So Shadow Flame did get changed, so let me bring up the item as well. Shadow Flame. So magic damage and true damage critically strikes low health enemies and has a bit of magic penetration on top of, so you got a bit more magic penetration with your boots as well.
Yeah.
Also building into it, you've got the Hextech alternator, so you're doing that little extra burst damage if you're just hitting someone with a range proc as well. Like, it does take a little while to fully convert because it is an expensive item and you have to get a large rod. You've also got, I think going Morello is fine. It is absolutely fine to take Morello if you're up against healing and stuff and you need that mitigation. It's a really cheap item and the stats on it are reasonable. Don't ever do Malignance on Zyra. I wouldn't recommend Horizon Focus. Void Staff is something that you might want to consider third item because magic resistance is quite high in the game right now.
Yeah.
Zhonya's is an item that you only take if you absolutely have to, and getting Death Cap is just like meme because it's just so expensive to get to. So you don't really have that many items to choose from when you're playing Zyra, if I'm going to be completely honest. It's really only like Sork Shoes, Leandry's, Morello, Rylai's,
and Shadow Flame.
Azonia's if you need it, and Shadow Flame, yeah. Those are like the only items that you really ever need to think about.
Yeah.
And like the two defensive items would be like the Zhonya's and the Rylai's, otherwise you're just going those other items. And Bloom's garbage, by the way. For some people, it's not. It's okay if you're melee, but there's a heal proc if you get a takedown on an enemy champion. But like the heal explosion goes where they die. But if they run away with like a Leandry's burn and then die somewhere off random, then no one gets the heal. Crypt Bloom is terrible in my opinion.
I tried Crypt Bloom because I've tried all new items.
Yeah.
And I felt that the heal was too low.
Yeah.
That it didn't really make a difference.
The only champion I've seen it kind of be worth it is on maybe Silas, but even then I don't know. Like the Void Staff has just got, it costs more, like a tiny bit more, but you get, instead of 30% magic penetration, you get 40%. So it's just like, it's just generally like more raw damage, it's just better. So I would say, so generally it's like two, well for me on Zyra it's like 2 damage items and then Void Staff. Because they're going to have, there's usually going to be like a tank or two on an enemy team. Magic resistance is really easy to get this season. So that helps mitigate that a bit, otherwise you're going to be doing absolutely no damage to them. And Zazak and Leandry is like good burn damage on tanks. So if you don't have the magic penetration for that, then you're not going to do as much damage to them. So hopefully that clears up the item bit. I'll try not to go into items when we're in, but yeah, as I said, like the items was my main concern. Usually I'm not concerned when looking at items at players, but here I think you've gone completely the wrong direction.
Yeah. No, I know. I am aware that I don't know how to itemize her, so that was one of the things that I was hoping to get out of this coaching. So thank you very much.
That's right. Is Imperial Mandate worth it? No, don't go Imperial Mandate. Imperial Mandate is no. What elo are you getting? Was it gold?
Yes.
I'll just put a little note just in case people ask. Okay. So what do we got up here? So we are playing red side and we are Zyra MF versus Caitlyn Nautilus. Okay, so run me through that matchup. I want to know your knowledge. What do you think is 2v2 that they're like for you in lane?
So it's going to be very difficult for me to land a route that would make a difference in the lane, because I would ideally want to land the route on Caitlyn, but she's ranged and there's Nautilus that I have to be mindful of. Realistically, if I should, in my mind, I don't think I should be winning the lane, so I should be looking at poking and chipping down, but I don't expect to win the lane. Because of the Nautilus and because of my bad positioning sometimes.
Yeah, I think that is a fair assessment of the lane. I think this isn't like completely lost already, right? I think it's going to be dictating a lot on how well Nautilus plays the lane. If the Nautilus doesn't play very well, I think you could have a couple of opportunities to at least chip away at the Caitlyn and get some laning pushing pressure there. It's like and also your plants can block Nautilus hook if needed. But yeah, if you do get caught by a Nautilus hook, it's going to be really brutal. If Nautilus catches out your misfortune, I would like to see you stepping up and trying to do as much as you can to the Caitlyn to dissuade her from following up.
Yeah, I was also kind of bummed that Caitlyn took cleanse because that gives her a better defensive summoner than heal against my root ult combo.
Yeah, it means that she can get out of route fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I will say that like if you do have like a lasher down there, the melee slow one, it will still keep her in place a little bit. I think cleanse doesn't affect Zyra quite as much as some of the other champions for sure. But like I know what you mean though.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a look. So what do you start? You start nothing, which I'd like to see. First blood already given over. That's not good news. So here I'll be like looking at an E here now, which you do. Unfortunately a little bit wide. But at least, okay. Yeah, I mean you did everything like right there in terms of waiting to take a skill. Waiting to see if they were going to invade, and they did, and then you took the right ability E. I'm happy with that. And you're standing waiting for plant setup around. They're trying something really crap. I've not seen this before actually. Huh.
Oh yeah, it's happened in one of my other games. That's why I always take the other brush instead of
Yeah.
the tri brush because it's scary.
I think, okay, so I'm just going to just say something here. I think you don't, I think you wait. Okay, I can see maybe why you E actually, because you got a seed there. Is that probably why you're doing that?
Yes, I was also
Yeah,
expecting him to hook immediately, so I was
hoping
hoping.
to he would hook the plant. Yeah, I think it's better to get certain things rather than like iffies. So if he does like hook in, as he's coming in, you just throw E over towards the Caitlyn. I think at this early stage, it's not going to be too terrible if you get hooked. It's like later on, it's going to be more devastating. So, because the E does have a really long cooldown, so if you do miss it at any stage, that's when you're going to be completely vulnerable. And also here, you don't, yeah. So here again, you've got two things going on for you here. You got the wave state is not in your favor. You're not really auto-attacking these minions here either to help getting level 2 any quicker. So you kind of, if you know that you're not going to get level 2 first, you need to A, back off, and B, tell your AD carry to back off. Otherwise, you're going to be in a position where you're going to get engaged on when they're level 2, and then you're level 1. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Also, you'd be really careful. So you, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like positioning issues. I think it's probably going to come down to you're using your E too panicky. So like when you use your E here, it's like a bit of, I don't know, it's like a 30% chance that you might catch the Nautilus. But if you do catch him, it's like he will then shrug that off and then still go for you eventually anyway, because of how this lane is anyway. So if he gets rooted here, it's going to end, but he's just going to walk up diagonally. So what I would do is, if I were you, I'd say like, okay, let him engage if he ends up throwing the hook. The split second he throws the hook, throw your E over towards Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Because the Caitlyn is going to run in a straight line, the quickest pathing to where you or your AD carry gets hooked. So it should be pretty easy to root her.
Yeah.
So I think you just play it like that and get a guaranteed route rather than gambling that there's something here happens. And then, like, if it misses, which is going to miss, it's going to be really bad because then you've got nothing to make sure this Caitlyn doesn't follow up.
Yep.
So, yeah. Auto attack's going to root you. Yeah, luckily it's not too bad, actually. I thought it was going to be a lot worse in terms of, like, health damage. But yeah, that could have been... like, that could have been quite bad. So yeah, you don't... Okay, so here is a bit risky as well. And here, I don't want to see... You keep throwing out your E. I mean, it's your only defensive tool. I really would like to see you just, like, hold on to that.
Okay.
The only thing that you really should be throwing out is your Q and your QW.
Yeah, I was still level 2 at that point, so I didn't have my Q yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'd just be like throwing out your Q if you can harass, but
yeah.
At this season, you don't necessarily even have to harass. Like, if you feel like you can't get a Q and you got some extra charges, just execute some minions and then just chill. Because at the end of the day, the Nautilus is the one here really wanting to make the play. Let him make the mistakes, and then you can just capitalize on, you know, when he does make a bad engage, just, you know, do what you can do on top of that. Because all I'm seeing is that all I'm seeing right now is that you're using your E, it missing, and then it's like, then it can open up an opportunity for Nautilus to go onto you.
Yeah.
Because your Q and your plant's not going to do anything. So like that is best. That is exactly what I want to see. This is good. This is good. So this is perfect.
Once
That's
I
a
get my Q,
QW. Yeah.
Properly play the game. But
Yep.
yeah, because I started E because of the Lee Sin tower dive.
Yeah, it's fine. And then in that situation, when you have your E level 1, it's not like you don't have to do anything. You're never going to get a kill level 1 playing Zyra anyway, right? So it's just like, just chill, and if the Nautilus goes in for a cheeky hook engage, then you're just looking to disengage with your E. You're playing like a Janna, honestly, at that point. Like a slightly more higher damage Janna, but less disengage.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we're entering into like deep territory. I don't know if you guys haven't been paying attention to like vision in terms of knowing that Lee Sin's up there, but you should know at this point that Lee Sin's up there, big team fight up top. So you know you're isolated in a 2v2 down here. So you shouldn't be too worried about... You can see the TP coming, actually no, you won't be able to see it. You can see Cass's back mid, so you shouldn't be worried about being ganked. You should know it's a 2v2 down here.
Yeah, I actually didn't see the TP.
Yeah, when it wasn't in vision, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let me just watch this. Because I would prefer you genuinely to save your E in case you get engaged on. I think overall that's like okay, but I don't think you need to be too proactive down here in terms of like using your E. Like here is kind of scary as well. Like there, I think if the Nautilus was a bit more experienced and wanting to go in, and if he knew that the brand wasn't here, for example, then he could have looked to go into you there. Okay, this is a very, very, very forced fight, and nothing's going to come from that, yeah. I think you just kind of you're just chilling. Honestly, you're just kind of coasting this lane. I think from like resource standpoint, everyone here is pretty healthy apart from Caitlyn. Like nothing's really happened down here, but Caitlyn's been churning through her mana, pushing in the wave and stuff constantly. Like soon she's not going to be able to do anything, and then you're going to have more freedom to use your E whenever you like, because even if Nautilus goes in, if Caitlyn's out of mana, like she's not going to do a whole lot. So I think you just keep playing it out slowly, and just like you're winning the resource war right now.
Right. Sorry if you can hear anyone snoring. My dog is next to me.
No, I can't. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so here is right. I want to see you move straight up and then Eing the kick. This is perfect. This is exactly how you play. Okay, that's great. So, yeah, because your E was ready, you didn't waste it earlier. You're then able to disengage it from the Kaden. She's now used cleanse. And you guys are still healthy, right? Like, if you look at the health and the mana between you two and, like, the enemy, like, Nautilus has resources, but as I said, the Caitlyn is now, like, she's dipping down even further into mana. But at this point, you want to kind of, if possible, let the laning phase go on as long as possible now, so that the Caitlyn doesn't recall and then that she starts suffering in lane because of that. So you're just kind of holding your E. When you're playing against, like, Leona and Nautilus and these kind of champions, you're just playing it safe. You're saving your E to counter engage. Like here is great. Here, this is the mistake. Here it is, an absolute big boo-boo here from the Nautilus. Okay, he's put himself in a terrible position. Here, I'm seeing straight away double root. I'm seeing maybe if you can do put a Q onto the Caitlyn because she's going to move up, thinking it's an engage. I think Nautilus is Gigafar overextended to the point where you could probably just whack your Ignite on and then start looking to back off a little bit, because once you've used your abilities, they're on cooldown and all you've got is auto attacks anyway. So once you've done your E and your Q, you're then just thinking about positioning safely. And if you are feeling confident enough to try and angle yourself in a position to be in a good spot to land your abilities again when they come off cooldown. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. So, double root. Fantastic. Okay. Okay.
I want the Caitlyn instead of the Nautilus.
Yes. So, the only reason why I say, like, you want to just ignite the Nautilus here is because you would have to commit flash to do anything over to this Caitlyn. And if you do commit flash, okay, look at the positioning of the Misfortune if you do that. She's like way too far away, then she would then have to commit Summonist in order to follow that up. Whereas you could just get the freebie with the Nautilus and not have to use it. Like, the only thing you would have to use is Ignite. And he would die, right? You just get the take what you can for absolute free. Because then you'll still have your flash up later on in laning phase, so that Nautilus, like, then, you know, doesn't have anything. On the whole, like, you know, I'm proud that you did the double route and you did a large portion of what I wanted you to do. So I think you probably, if anything, just need a little bit more belief in yourself and just a little bit more understanding of when it's okay to use your E. And it's okay to wait until the enemy makes mistakes before you then commit to using your E. Especially against like these hard engages.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever, so the thing with this matchup for me is I try not to do anything to, like, if I do anything, I'm trying to land stuff on the Caitlyn, not on the Nautilus.
Yes, that's the complete correct thing to do. Whenever you're playing against any engage, you want to try and land what you can on the AD carry, because once Nautilus has committed and used his abilities, he has nothing left.
Yep.
That was just like literally perfect line. He messed up. He made a really big mistake, and it's just like then you had the opportunity to punish it. Whereas if you were using your E randomly to try and stop him from engaging, then you wouldn't have been in a position to A, root him, or B, root the Caitlyn in the first place anyway. So it was just really good that you had your E ready for that.
I was hoping to catch her there with the, I remember doing that. But she was pretty on point with the, I forgot what it's called.
Calibanat, yeah.
Yeah.
I think because you had, okay, so usually I would say like, okay, Eing here is not great, but because the way that your plants are like, it's going to be very difficult for Nautilus to engage on you anyway. So as long as those plants are still up, I think you're okay to hit that ward out. I'd probably move personally a bit more to the right though, taking out this ward. Because you have vision of it anyway, because you've got the ward already in the brush. So just be a bit more safer, and I would take a couple of steps to the right as I'm auto-attacking, just to put myself in a slightly kind of like that, but like in down a bit, rather than putting yourself in this choke point here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think okay, so if you know, I think by the way that they're stancing and the way they're being aggressive around this try brush and how they haven't come back into lane, it's kind of obvious that they're doing dragon, and your jungler isn't here, so I'd be like, whatever, let's just leave it. I wouldn't keep edging backwards and forwards like this. Just don't put yourself in a position where you're going to get caught. Just like leave it. It's fine.
Okay.
Like there's no point. This even doing this, I'd say, is kind of risky. This is now putting yourself. That's bad positioning now. I'd say at this point. Like you probably know that they're doing dragon at this point. You don't need a ward to tell you that because you already know. There's no way of, if you have vision on these guys, there's no way that you can really make a play reasonable time because the brand's decided to concede it anyway. He's doing Gromp, so yeah, nothing's going to be happening there. So
yep.
Yeah, you keep putting yourself back into this position where you could get caught, and I don't like it. It's making me very uncomfortable. Yeah, like that. So yeah, I think just understand, like, you know they're on dragon, you know your jungler's not nearby, just leave it. Just pretend it doesn't exist anymore and just go back to being safe in the bot lane.
Yeah.
I know it's like really tempting to kind of just dissuade them by doing, by putting plants down, and it's just not going to happen. You're not going to be able to nudge them off the objective like that. Not by yourself.
I was trying to, so again, because I have PTSD from other games, they wrap around and then they invade, so I was really defending that control ward in the tri-brush. That was everything. That I wasn't trying to do anything else. Because if I remember correctly, I didn't have another ward to refresh it.
Okay.
And I was really concerned about the Lee Sin coming from behind and then doing the play and all that stuff.
Okay, well, I'd say you did have a ward because you put one over the wall.
Yeah.
So, I'd say, like, it's not worth losing your life over protecting a control ward. You know there's 3 people there. You don't have any priority there. I think maybe if your W stacked up a bit more and you could put like a couple of plants here to give you like a little bit of heads up vision to be able to kill any more wards that were to pop up there. But I'd say like it's just not worth it. Like if you die there, you're already losing a bit of XP here, I think, as well, because you're hanging around the tri-brush a lot. And even walking to this point here, like you have no vision in this area. Someone could have easily walked up into this brush and looking for something here too. So it's just not worth the risk. You just don't. You know that they're doing dragon. You know that the jungler's there, and that your jungler's not near it. It's just don't like look at the river. Honestly, at that point, just be in the mindset of, the mindset of that there could be 3 people in my lane soon, but you don't want to look for a fight 1v3.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Just saying this from like, your mindset. You know you got the brand down here and seeing if you can try and do anything. I mean, you could do something a little bit risky and cheeky if you really wanted to and put yourself like, make it look like
That's
you're
what I was
making...
trying to,
Yeah.
that's what I was trying to bait.
It's
but not
really
make it too
risky though,
obvious.
yeah. It is, I don't know.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I end up baiting them. Like that.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you're knowing that there's a bait and you landed, honestly, you landed the abilities that you needed to land, that's like the biggest thing. So once again, you got engaged on. You're then landing the route over towards the Caitlyn, you're whacking everything down, the plant's focusing on the Caitlyn as well. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good. It's a good play. I think you did everything right there. I've got nothing to complain about. I think that's advanced level stuff then. Beyond your ear though, for sure. I think what the brand here is doing as well is also, okay, you've messed up, but that is kind of like, that's good stuff as well that he was trying to do. I think helping him though is impossible because he messed up. So you just back out and reset. Yeah. He messed up. He definitely could have done more.
I think he was trying to be very greedy there because he went. So this is my take on it, right? We killed them and then he wanted to kill them again, but we weren't with him. So I don't know. But this is not about brand. I understand.
Okay, so let me just see this. Okay, so I'm just thinking about what I would do in this situation because this does happen occasionally. So this is a snowbally jungle play. Like this isn't terribly uncommon. So what usually happens is he's expecting people to come on, like, you know, auto pathing back into lane and catching them off, right?
Yep.
You gotta make it not too obvious at the same time. It's all a mental game, so like not too obvious, but I would like, you want to clear this wave out as quickly as possible so that your minions can come down. But then at the same time, you don't want to use too many resources because then you won't have anything for the actual fight, right? So it's a bit awkward. But I probably would position myself a little bit more towards where the MF is, just in case like he actually does catch, so that she can't then come back towards the tower. Because if you're positioned where the MF is as well, Caitlyn can't come back towards the tower, which means she can't get the CS. So she has to run the other way.
Right.
Because you could. So I would say like you want to if this happens again ever, which will probably happen once in 500 games, you position yourself away from this turret so that you aren't getting hit by that as much if you do get aggro. But also, you want to get as deep in the lane as possible. So it would be in a position, I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor, but somewhere around here.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be somewhere around there rather than down here. So that where the MF was, because it's just the best area of where you can be, really.
Yeah, so closer to the enemy team, but kind of
away from the turret.
From the tower. Yeah. Okay.
Here, I think would have been great time to reset now, though, because you did get the kills, you did get turret plates. I don't think you need to stop these guys from pushing in the wave. I think here resetting is absolutely fine. I think you just go into your intro brush and just recall. Because now you've got the problem of, yeah, MF's got 1,500 gold and you've got 1,100 gold. Even though you have more total gold than them, they've gone back to buy. So they've actually got more gold worth of items on them. And they are looking a little bit more healthier. MF hasn't got much mana, you're on half HP. And they've got full mana, and yeah, they will beat you in a 2v2 at this current state. So you should have both reset here at this point, because you had just shoved in the wave anyway. There's one of your casting minions. It's the perfect time to reset. And you got a cannon minion coming down. So they have to spend time killing this cannon minion too. So it's actually the perfect time to recall. So, yeah, I know that was a bit distracting. You probably would have reset after that, but it's worth like losing like a couple of minions under turret to get to spend 2,600 gold between the both of you.
Yep.
So yeah, staying here is mega concerning for me, because they should be forcing a fight here. They should be like, oh, they didn't recall, so let's punish this. And in your mind right now, I hope you're thinking like, we need to reset like right now.
Yes, I actually. So my ADC is duo, so I told him we should go back because we have a cannon wave. He said no, let's not give them any plates.
Oh, I
So
see.
that's
Like,
why we stayed.
yeah. So if you've got that amount of gold, you need to overwrite that and just say it doesn't matter if they get a plate. They're gonna get like 1 or 2 plates anyway in the laning phase, generally anyway. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
if they get it now. It's just come back into the lane stronger, kick their asses when you come back in. That should be your
Mm-hmm.
mindset. Like, okay, they get 1 plate, but when we get back into lane, we're gonna absolutely smack these guys.
Yep.
Because now you guys are overextending, and the gold account in your pockets are getting more and more and more right now.
Yeah.
Like here would be like an okay time to reset after those minions died. Like resetting here would be fine, but you don't reset. It's a kind of mini wave as well.
Yeah.
This is Giga
Literally
Greed right now.
after.
Especially, I didn't realize you were duo, so this is like even worse, I'd say, because both of you should be on the mindset here.
Yep.
You've reset, like please, for the love of God. Like, how much gold are we both on now?
I
2,400 gold on MF and 1,600 gold on you. That is like this is a war crime. Like both of you should be in jail for 10 years. Like there's no way like you guys should be in lane with this amount of gold. This is filthy, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a pretty big buy when we did end up going back.
You guys still haven't recalled yet. Oh, you want to recall? I can see you want to recall. Your AD carry doesn't want to. Your AD carry is crazy. Please, for the love of God, reset. I mean, you guys should have been punished ages ago. You're not resetting. No, why are you not resetting? Oh, you need dragon. Oh my God. This is crazy. They stole the dragon and then you guys end up losing a fight. Honestly, you both deserve to die in the game, right? Like, you're finally getting to reset only because you got forced down to low HP. Like, I'm gonna be alright. Okay, I'm gonna just throw in like the low ELO like spanner in here. This is like literally bronze. I'm gonna be harsher. You're on gold. Okay, this is literally bronze mentality. Yeah, so you need to do 1 or 2 things. If this is someone that you're playing duo queue with, you need to say like we are recalling right now, okay? And you say like, okay, if you're not gonna recall, I'm gonna recall and I'm going to roam. Okay, if you don't, because what's gonna happen is that when you recall by yourself, they're then gonna be thinking about when they can next recall, and they're gonna be they're either gonna die by themselves, or
Yeah, that's what happens. He dies.
right. So yeah, you need to get that communication going, and it's
Yep.
like, oh, she has 3,400 golds.
And he's still in lane. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really, really not good. That's like one of the most horrendous things I've seen in a long time, actually. Because now that what's happened is now also you've got staggered recalls, so you're coming out into the lane, MS not coming out into the lane. So in that situation, there's no point in you coming back into lane here because this is not a safe place for you to be. So you should be walking through in between the lanes and seeing if you can try and get like a ward here in this banana brush.
right.
Like Ziggs is pushing in lane right now, so it would be kind of safe to kind of like check out this area and see if there's any control wards here or any wards that need clearing, and then going back into bot lane if that is like where MF is going, okay? But yeah, yeah, I mean, like honestly, you and the Misfortune in high ELO would be absolutely slapped for that. Like
Yeah.
you would have died. Like you got away with big crime, okay? So I want that to be
Yeah.
absolutely clear. That should never have happened. You guys should have spent gold, been stronger, and honestly taken down this turret. Right? I know it sounds like my. I just want this like to be reinforced as much as possible into your brain. Like you could have got tier 1 turret. You could have got first turret in the game potentially. That would have given you even more gold, more total gold. But because you guys are getting greeding over like, oh, let's not let the enemy team have like 150 gold. You've prevented yourself getting like 500, 600 gold, maybe even more.
Yeah. It's
So
the
yeah.
snowball effect of that bad decision now.
Yeah.
In hindsight. Yeah.
Okay, so you did kind of do what I said, like coming into mid, but now it's like, are you going to roam now, or is you coming back to bot? That's what I want to see. Okay, looks like you're trying to get some more map control over the top side.
I was trying to help the
Okay, let's do a stat check. We haven't looked at our teammates for a long time. Okay, so I can understand why you're roaming. I understand it completely. In a normal game, roaming around this time is fine. Unfortunately, you have a 3-8 top and a 0-4 mid. The only lane that's actually winning is like jungle and bot lane. I would be more inclined to try and refrain from helping out mid and top for as long as possible and getting your MF and your brand as strong as possible.
Okay.
Like I know Nautilus is roaming, but he A gets away with it easier because he's paying engage, and B he gets away with it because he's got a Giga Fed top laner and a mid laner that's doing pretty well as well. I think
Yeah, also
taking any fight when there's that fed of a top laner around that Camille 6-1, you will lose at this point in the game. There's no fight that you win. So I would be very hesitant to roam into a section of the map where the enemy is that strong. I would just stay bot or around mid if I had to. So yeah, I get the roam timing. I get what you're doing. But with the people that you have in your game, it's just not going to happen. You should just focus on getting your MF further ahead. And your brand ideally should be playing more around the bot section of the map, away from the Camille.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so in my mind, I was, because I knew that MF would win 1v1 versus the Caitlyn at this point, I was trying to play with Brand, and perhaps Brand and I, with whoever, top or mid, we could do something, but yeah.
I think if you're playing duo with the MF, I think you try and communicate the roaming better with your MF. Do you duo a lot with this person?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can talk about it in that regard then. So if you're playing duo a lot with someone, you and your MF, both of you are really strong, and you want to make more of an impact on the map earlier, like when Herald's up, you both need to do that at the same time. I think you both roam then, because then it's like, then you can maybe get the shutdown off of the Camille and snowball even further from that. I think you either both do it. If this stat situation is like this in a game, I think you both roam, try and collect that massive bounty, or you stay down bot lane and escalate the lead even further and make it so that the enemy doesn't have an AD carry for the entirety of the game. And then play it from that. Those are your only two options. You need to use okay, so if you're playing in a duo, you really need to utilize the communication more, because you are getting put against players. If there's no duo on the enemy team, the enemy players will be higher elo than your actual rank. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the team it's to make up for the fact that you have a duo. So the enemy players, so when you're playing in a duo bot, it's more likely that your solo laners are going to get wrecked as well because of that. Like if everyone's playing in their appropriate ELO, your solo laners will have a higher chance of losing when you're in a duo.
Is it solo laner specifically, or?
Well, it's because of the rest of the map. So say for example, every single member on your team is gold 4.
Right.
And you have one duo, which is you, and your AD carry in the bot lane.
Yep.
Say the enemy team has no duos, they're not going to put gold 4s on everyone on the enemy team, because that wouldn't be fair, because you have a duo and they don't. So they're going to be like, say, there's going to be like a few gold 2s maybe on the enemy team, maybe a gold 1, maybe like the occasional plat to make up for, I don't know the exact how much they make up for it, but they do make up for it by putting stronger players on the enemy team in order to make up for the fact that you have a duo. Because you're if duo people bot are expecting that they expect the system's expecting you to beat their bot lane. So what I'm saying is, because say like for example you're playing against your duo bot, you're playing against gold 4 AD carry and support, and something's got to give somewhere, so they're probably going to have like a gold 2 top laner or something and a gold 1 jungler. So it's going to be harder on the other side of the map. So you need to be kind of anticipating that as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I understand. I think there was the same last season as well. I was just because you said that there's a higher chance that the solo laners are gonna get a more difficult matchup. I was just curious if it would be the solo laner specifically. Like for example, if they could put a higher elo player, like in bot lane, right? It could be the ADC or the support even.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, so what I'm saying is, if you were playing solo, won't necessarily happen quite as much, but it might happen more often because you are duo.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So it's really important about the communication between both of you. Trying to figure out where you want to be. So like here, yeah, it's good that you're linking up, but your MF needs to be respecting the fact that this Camille's very, very fed. And I would never leave. This is crazy. 5 people hunting down this Camille. Just trying to think what you're doing here. So you're now support. You don't want to be supporting the Ziggs. My mindset would be like, if you get the kill here, it's nice, but it probably shouldn't have happened anyway. But I think you need to link up with your strongest player on your team, and it is the MF. She's 303. She's got a 500 gold bounty. I'd be more inclined of, not necessarily about eliminating the enemy bounty is good, but I'd be more inclined to protecting the strongest asset on your own team, and it is literally your partner that you're talking to on voice comms with. So I think you just try and do stuff together rather than like I mean, I don't know. MF looks a little bit risky, isolated potentially mid, but I think you just work with your strongest rather than, especially when you can communicate together, rather than working with randoms in your game that aren't having particularly well. But I will say that what happened top was good, but I think it's like this isn't necessarily the most optimized play that you could have done. Like the Ziggs and the Brand could have been messing around with Camille like topside, and you could have been doing stuff with the Misfortune securing that she doesn't get picked off by random roams like Nautilus and the enemy Quinn, and you can get like the tier 2. Does that make sense?
When you said the enemy Quinn, the Quinn was on our team.
Enemy Quinn, I mean, yeah.
She died so many times.
Yeah.
You could say she was on the enemy
team. But yeah, hopefully that kind of conveys some points still.
Yes, yeah, no, I understand.
Okay, so you guys are grouping up around a dragon objective. You know the dragon's up, enemy team has 2, so it's quite important that you guys do fight over this. You don't really have anyone in your team to face check brushes, which is like a massive pain, so I'm having a look to see if you're like scouting with your W if you need to. Like checking your plants and stuff. Like, okay, my main concern here is like you're still duo with this guy, but you haven't played with your duo at all for like the last 6 minutes, and the communication in lane has been off as well. Like MF is.
We kind of stopped communicating. I mean, we were talking about the game, but we weren't syncing up after kind of like laning phase was over.
Yeah, like you guys are in different everything right now. Different, yeah. This. How do I explain this? You guys are just playing 2 different games right now. Like, it was just not ideal. Like, it's like you're both. Honestly, I couldn't tell that you were both duo, which is like usually when I see coaching sessions, I can tell people are duo. I couldn't tell at all that you guys are duo. You both are so like out of sync. Like you're wanting to contest around the dragon to get vision around dragon. Your AD carry is like contesting over blue buff. And then they're gonna die. Like they killed the jungler for it, but like it's not like the 1-for-1 trade with your strongest player is. But your MF needs to be here to fight over this dragon, unfortunately.
I actually don't know what happened and why she was behind.
Well, let's have a look at back. So now it's turning into like a coaching session for like 2 people now.
No, sorry, yeah.
No, I mean it's like I was trying to figure it out because I wasn't expecting it to be. I don't mind doing duos. I've done a few duos in the past. It's just I don't know why she's like not that. I think you need more of a voice and in the call. I don't know if they're more dominant in the call or whatever, but you need to start going with your instincts more. Like from a pure LP like perspective, the duo here, in my opinion, okay, you won, you were ahead in lane, but I'd say it's literally more down to you. You've done the right mechanical moves. You're doing appropriate macro moves. Your AD carry is trolling you right now. Like I'm just being like giga like honest and harsh. Like your AD carry is
It's okay. He doesn't watch the stream. It's fine. But like, is it because he stopped to do the blue buff?
yeah, there's no reason for him to stopping to do the blue buff. There's no reason for them to be by themselves like this when this person here is about to die. That you two should be playing together a lot more. The lack of communication on like resetting, like it's like you're both playing solo queue in a, but it's like you're both playing autopilot on solo queue, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It does actually.
You're putting a massive debuff on your heads being in duo queue by making the enemy team stronger, but like you're not using the whole point of being duo in the first place. So it depends on like how serious you are in terms of like LP gaining. Because I think this is like literally your main problem right now is the duo. If I'm gonna be like brutally honest, I think it can be fixed with communication and more strict kind of. I think you need to. From my perspective, it's like you need to be more vocal and more like we need to do this, we need to do that. Because from what I'm seeing, you're doing generally the right moves on the map, but your AD carry is like a lost dog. I don't know if that's like making any sense or if that's any of that you seem like true at all in the actual calls themselves.
I wouldn't. While it's happening, it's very difficult for me to like pay attention to everything. In my mind, I have a very simple mind. I'm only going 4. I was going down to the river with the jungler because the objective was up or it was about to spawn. I don't remember. So I know that as a support, I'm supposed to offer vision to the team, and Brand is also one of the players in my team that is doing well. So that was my goal there. I wasn't really paying attention to what the
Yeah.
ADC was doing, or anyone else for that matter, because in my mind, it's their responsibility to move their asses to the objective.
Yep. I agree with everything what you said there, apart from the fact that you are in a duo situation. Like there was like the link ups with the recalls, for example, in lane were like I could tell you wanted to reset, but your AD carry didn't want to reset. Yeah. So I think you need to shot call a little bit more. I trust from what this one game, I know it's not a very good sample size, but what I've seen from you in terms of what you want to do in this game generally, apart from fighting over dragon when you have player deficit, that's like the only bad thing. But you guys are not on the same page at all. So one of you needs to, okay, I think you need to shot call, be a bit more vocal about, okay, dragon spawning, let's go over there and secure it. Or like even just saying like that one simple sentence will hopefully get them out the mindset of not doing this blue buff randomly. Like there is no reason this guy should be doing blue buff. There's no reason at all. It's taking forever to kill as well. There is no reason to do this buff. They should be with you and prepping up for dragon. This is like massive player error. There is nothing that this AD carry for me in terms of like a macro positioning has like. Do you know what ELO they are? Are they gold 3 as well?
No, they're on his main account, I think, because he has 2 accounts. And he's on his main account, he's like emerald something, and on this account, because I haven't played ranked in a while and we can't duo on his main account, he's playing on his other account, on this account, because we can duo. Because otherwise, the difference in ranks is too high, so we can't actually duo.
Okay, so I don't know if it's just a massive disrespect then from whoever this is. I don't know if I'm seeing too much into it, but like it surprises me that you said this guy's emerald. I thought you were gonna say like silver or bronze. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I think he's disrespecting the whole. Are they an AD carry main as well?
Yeah, Misfortune one trick.
Misfortune one trick. Okay, so yeah. I'm gonna be brutally honest. I thought this guy was gonna. I thought you were gonna say this guy was like bronze or silver. The fact that he's emerald. The only thing I can think of then is that he's giga disrespecting the people on his team. Like the fact like the holding like 3,000 gold or however much it was in the recall in emerald, he should like that should never ever happen. Like this play here, it should never happen. wandering off by themselves and stuff like that in the mid lane and stuff. This, I don't know. There's a lot of red flags here in their play. I know we're focusing a lot on their play, but there is.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad now.
I don't. I think it's, from my perspective, it's like you need to have a bigger voice, and it's like you're LPing as much as theirs. So it's like, in my perspective, they're trolling, but especially even more so knowing that they're Emerald. So go with your instincts more, trust them, and be more vocal about it. Because 90% of the stuff that you've done has been like absolutely fine. It's just that your AD carry, your partner is just in Narnia right now in the brain.
Okay.
But we'll play it through more and see some stuff.
I don't communicate proactively. What he hears from me usually when he dies randomly like that is, why were you there? But I didn't communicate. I didn't say, hey, let's go to Dragon now.
Yeah, I think that's probably what you're going to need to start doing, honestly. And if you want to climb and take it seriously when in duo, then do it. Otherwise, I'm going to be brutally honest and say stop. I would say stop duoing. I honestly think the duo, if you're pure LP standpoint, the duo is setting you back. Because your partner is, in my opinion, not respecting. Yeah, I need to stop hopping on, but I'm actually a bit.
You're a bit tilted, yeah.
I'm a bit tilted, yeah. I think it's really, from my perspective, it's really rude that they're playing like this in your games, if that's the case, because.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think you should have recalled them. I think recalling once again here is fine. What made you interrupt your recall?
I don't remember. I decided not to, but I don't remember why. I think because people were pinging.
Yeah, I think you should just reset him. There's no Baron to fight over. This is nothing to fire in their topside river. That Baron hasn't spawned yet.
Right.
Like, MF is now being cocky here. With a they know they just had 2 people die. Yeah. Like here is just a classic example of like someone like, I'm in Emerald and this is Gold and I'm just gonna like, you know, do whatever I want. Because this is completely disrespecting here as well. Like you don't have a player disadvantage. You just had 2 people on your team die. You're 5v3 on the map. You don't know who's over here really, or how the gap closing potential here of Camille. It's just complete disrespect of the enemy team. Okay, she gets one, but like that's not worth.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
They might say worth, but it's not worth. It's really not worth. That's meant to be your strongest player on your team. Buying 1-for-1 like that is not. It's really not on. I think you need to just go for everything that I've seen from you. I've seen it in a couple of other players before. I think you just need to trust your gut instincts more, and be a bit more vocal. I think like the recall here. I think you knew that was the right thing to do, but you decided you cancelled it through to peer pressure. Just go with the recall.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't being asked or anything. I just saw that it was people were pinging.
Yeah. So it's peer pressure. Yeah, I would say that's peer pressure. Like people like pinging them, spam pinging the map. Like you know, it's the right thing to recall, but people are telling you to, you know, stuff's going on here. Look at this. Like there's like you don't need to fight there. There's no Baron. You just done an objective. Just reset and just chill. Like there's no reason to just go full crazy again. So you are making the right decisions, but it feels like you're being pulled away from them, whether it's spam pings or things that are said in the call. It's I think, and also your mechanical skill seems like above Gold for sure in Zyra. Like I was really impressed with your roots and stuff in the lane. Apart from like landing them on the Caitlyn when the Nautilus engaged, I would say that though you shouldn't be using your E as much as you would do against a deadly lane. That's like the biggest fault. I think the 2 big faults are that the E misusage in the lane, and then also fighting over like the dragon. But like on the large scale of things, I think for someone your ELO, I think you're playing pretty well right now. Apart from like we already talked about items. I think your items were giga trash, but yeah. Yeah, because like you're doing some good movement around the map overall. You're looking very, very busy on the map too. It's another good route. It's a good flash away. You're doing the right things mechanically when they're happening. So yeah, everyone's kind of like reset a little bit. Or Ziggs is going way too deep, but he'll be resetting shortly. So it's all about just putting the wards where you need them. I'd say here it's probably been... I mean, I can't see the dragon timer, which is super annoying, but I'd say like you probably would need... Like, it's a good time to maybe start... Getting the ward in the mid lane is a big one. Harp on it about a lot. So try and get a ward in the mid lane to see rotations.
Yep.
And if your Baron is a threat, which it potentially could be, like you should have a tiny bit more vision leaning over here. Dragon isn't up in a minute, or so like it's really annoying that I can't see dragon timers. But yeah, I probably would have like a ward here, a ward in this banana bush or this brush here if possible. And then have like one ward there is like fine, or in this brush or this banana brush, like somewhere around here. Just spread it out like a little bit evenly around the mid, because both teams are probably not fully sure what's going to be happening next, yourself included. Reset, go get some more wards, and then as the game plays on another minute later, you'll get more of an idea of what objective is going to be pushed on a little bit more.
That makes sense. So, sorry, just to because there's a small delay between the stream and our voice call.
Okay.
So you said into both banana brushes?
I did.
One for Baron, one.
So you would want a one ward, ideally. This is ideal, and only if it's safe to do.
Yep.
Safer one is the slate mid lane brush. This is the ideal one, but it's riskier to go to. The banana, like the curved banana brush.
Yeah. Yes, because it's more on their side. Yep.
Also, the most important ward though, really, in the entire game is a ward somewhere in the mid lane though, to see rotations.
Yep.
And then ID like I would honestly just have like generally a ward here, and like ward here, and then just reset, and then it'll give you like okay mid lane area vision, and then you'd have 4 wards back, and then you can then distribute wards shortly after that, just so that you got some like generic vision going, so you can kind of see what potentially the next play is going to be.
Yep.
But I have noticed also, like the last 15 minutes, you have not really played with your AD carry at all. You played more with the brand and the Ziggs than anything.
Yeah, because I'm trying to play for the objectives, and what usually happens after laning phase is we usually win the laning phase. But he then goes on to farm more, so he goes mid farms, jungle farms, just to get himself ahead, just to get himself to max build as
He's
soon as
playing the
possible.
wrong champion to do that as well, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah, so there's nothing for me to farm other than just sync up for XP. So I just go and I play around the objectives.
We should playing around together a bit now, but only because they're So this is what I meant earlier about how having the generic vision. Yeah, so having the generic vision would have given you guys a little bit of heads up. So that's why when it's always a tough one when there's 2 neutrals spawning. So you want to have, that's why the generic like ward here could have seen someone sneak in through this way, in order on the left hand side. Having a ward around here, like just to give you maybe a small glimpse of potential intel in order to see if they're heading towards that Baron area or the Dragon area. So yeah, that's why I mentioned like the generic 3 kind of like triangle of wards. In order to kind of like see what is in the mindset of the enemy team. So you guys traded a Dragon for a Baron, which is not great considering he's still quite far away from Sol, so wasn't really worth it.
go.
Yeah, I'm just
I
looking
think
at
I
the
was
whole
expecting-
fight in general. I wasn't quite paying attention to you, just trying to see what was going on over on the left hand side. Panic ult there is like whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
But like your biggest problem once again is your AD carry. I'm gonna just say it again, like your AD carry is being way too arrogant and cocky. Because what's happened here is that they've zoomed off onto the left hand side. And the only thing you can do at that point really is link up with them and just join into them, but it's like a giga fog of war face checking.
Yeah.
I hate everything about this. Let's just see it from, sorry, your perspective on the wrong team. Let me go back 10 seconds. But they've just done Baron. You guys, you got no vision that deep.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a team. Like I went with the team.
Yep. Yeah, it's not
I
your
know
fault
it's a
there's
bad
no
decision,
vision. I'm
but-
saying like they just done Baron. Honestly, in most cases you probably wouldn't even be fighting around here anyway in the first place.
Yeah.
It's like they've done their objective, it's done. But you yeah. I mean, it's an awkward team to play with anyway because you really don't have any front line whatsoever.
Yeah.
So your AD carry zooming in like that head first, like in some cases she probably doesn't really have much of a choice anyway because you just don't have any bruiser or tank. The Quinn pick, it does make things a lot harder.
Yeah. As soon as the player picked Quinn into the Camille, I knew that the game was doomed. Not gonna lie.
I'm gonna say, yeah, champion selection diff is definitely a factor here. But I can just, the oozing of disrespect from the Misfortune is just crazy. Like it really is like, it's, you can tell she's in a smurfing mindset and it's just completely disrespecting.
That's interesting. I never thought about that.
It's like literally like, I'm better than the other team. I'm just going to go YOLO in and I will probably win the fight, question mark. And if I get one, then it's like, it's hashtag worth because I said so. Like that's literally the mindset I'm getting. But as I said before, I mean, this is just from one game. And it is an awkward game to play because there isn't even a bruiser on your team. It's just literally full of squishy targets. It's a good route. This is such a hectic, like, last 3 or 4 minutes now. Drop in the Braum W emote. Yeah, because this is what can happen, right? So I say here you probably made a minus mistake. So yeah, Nautilus is doing the right thing here, trying to catch out your AD carry. Here, you don't want to not root the Nautilus though. You want to try and root anyone that's going to follow up with damage, like you were in lane. So here it would be the Cass. So Cass is going to get free reign here now on the MF if she wants to. Yeah. Fucking split push on the top side. Here I think you just recall straight away. Yeah, do you want war charges? You're probably sitting on no war charges right now.
Yeah, I don't have any wards because if I would have, I would drop them.
Yeah, you got one controlled. That's literally it. So you just want to reset. You want to reset as quickly as possible. But no.
And then I my blast.
Yeah, you could have even taken the portal as well. But yeah. Yeah, so I want you to just trust your gut more because you knew you should have recalled ages ago. Like here, I know you're in the mindset of recalling. If Brian wants to goof around with his red buff, that's on him. I want you just to. I don't know if it's the right sentence here to use, but I just want you to just trust your instincts more because like honestly, the times I've seen you wanting to recall have been correct. It's just that you keep cancelling it. Keep getting baited into these situations of overstaying and it's honestly breaking my heart. Like I can tell that you want to do the right things, it's just that you're being pulled away from doing the right things.
Well, it's yes and no. It's my insecurity basically.
Yeah,
I
and
have
I
an
think you need
idea
to
of
just trust
doing it.
yourself more. You just
Yeah.
really just need to trust yourself more. You are right in a lot of your decisions that you want to do initially, but you second guess yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, this comes with not having played in such a long time, for such a long time, and then I came back to ranked to league maybe a week and a half ago. So I also have a full-time job, so I don't. It's not like I play every day. So yeah, it's I'm still not certain of the decisions that I'm thinking about making. So that's why you see a lot of like you genuinely see the insecurity when I try to recall and then I stop and
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so this fight here is a bit weird from you. So Brand's already going in. He's in combat right now. Okay, he's already been grabbed. You distracted by killing Vods. You just don't. You have to get into the fight at this point.
Right.
And then also you went the wrong way.
Yes.
So
I went the other way because I kind of left the brand at that point. I went the other way because I saw the enemy team come in, and I knew that if I was walking in that direction, on the other side, then I would basically be frontline and I would die.
okay, I disagree because you've already you literally doing what you're doing right now. Like you've already cleared out vision, right? In that brush.
Yeah.
So you've cleared. You know that
Yeah.
there's no ward in that brush.
Yes.
But Brand's also popped this oracle. You know there's absolutely no vision in this banana brush whatsoever. Like if you went in there, they wouldn't be able to see you.
Right.
So you could
Okay.
could lurk in that brush and you'd be playing with the brand, and ideally MF would go that way as well. You shouldn't be killing extra wards while combat's going on, especially when it's leading you away from the fight.
Yeah.
And B, then you went the wrong way. Like your MF went one way and then you went the other way, and you got a nice AoE combo link up. So ideally you should have like synced up your ultis together.
That was the Camille ult. My ult is after. Yeah.
Wait, you didn't use your ulti?
No, that was the Camille ult.
Oh, here you used your ulti.
Here, yes, but I used it after the MF ult. Or did
Yeah,
you mean something else?
yeah. So I'm saying like you should be, if you were playing on this side with the MF, you both would have been able to use your ultis at the same time and get a bit more effective combo off rather than it being one at a time.
Staggering them. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say, okay, so this fight's on you because of that. So you should have you should have followed behind this brand once you got into combat. Like you already kind of were heading in that direction. As soon as this brand gets hooked, you go in the brush. You know it has no ward in, so you're going to be relatively safe in that regard, at least anyway. And you see what you can kind of do from that position, and then you link up with the MF. But the fact that you're like actively running away from the NF here and entering the fight, it's this fight is could have. Yeah, I mean, then you got no one. Then you've also then got no one peeling for the MF if needed as well. So MF's now having to fend for herself. So yeah, this one's on you more than anything. Yeah.
No, you're right. I thought that the brand could get away. I didn't see the opportunity to help to have a proper.
Yeah, whenever like combat starts, like player combat starts, you just have to kind of like, wards are like not really much of a thing unless you're actively worried about a TP coming from behind. Like, but even then, it's like it's probably more important just to make sure that you're there for the actual fight itself rather than an Ifra maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the objectives are kind of like snowballing out of control now there. Yeah, so don't die. Why did your MF die? Oh, she's trying to fight. They'd already taken Baron, haven't they?
Yeah, that was the only time that I kind of was just like, where will you go? You know, they just did Baron.
Yeah, she got the ulti off at that point. She didn't need to keep chasing.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the ult was fine, and then They had got Baron at that point. She got the kill on Nautilus. Maybe you try and block the Caitlyn ulti there, but then looking for more after that was too much. Yeah, like, she had no vision of the bit. She had no vision of anything. She just went into fog of war, kind of a bit what happened earlier with the blue. Once again, it's kind of difficult because you're not got a tank, so you can't play front to back. But that was a little bit unnecessary. And then you just have to just not die. Honestly, you probably end up just giving this inhib, because if you die here, it's game over.
I actually pinged the Ziggs off because I knew that they would take tower, and obviously they would take inhib.
Yep, you're doing the right thing. Once again, your instincts on the whole are like on point. Yep. That's absolutely the right thing to do. Okay. So you're going to be on the back foot still. The enemy team has Baron. There's nothing for you to like do here. There's nothing for you to fight over or do anything here. It's all about being defensive. Like even going out to clear out this ward isn't really worth it. The only thing that is relevant is like this ward and having like ward in the middle of the lane to see if they keep pushing down, and just like generic defensive vision in order to kind of anticipate where they are on your side of the map when that happens, because you're not going to be pushing out anytime soon really, unless you make a really good catch, and that's only really going to happen if you've got the good defensive vision. But don't go too far out to ward when you're already going to be pushed in or anticipating being pushed in. Oh my god. Okay, so we're all chasing for the support. Yeah, I think like here when the Nautilus is getting away and you can kind of see like the cast has been like pushing in quite a lot, I think you just reset, and you can see Caitlyn on top as well. So like, you know, a lot of information here that it's unlikely that like if you help chase this that is going to add anything to anything. So I think you just recall here.
Yeah.
Because yeah, this is too much of a chase for enemy support. Luckily nothing really happens in your base. Yeah, you're here just in time to wave clear. I would prefer, okay, yeah, so just because you two are duo, I wouldn't mention it otherwise, but because you are duo, I would prefer your MF to hold ulti here when you to overlap with your own crowd control, rather than trying to blast Baron minions that aren't going to die that well.
Okay.
When especially if they've already broken in the turret anyway, so having the minions here isn't really anything at this point. You just want to have your ulti in it to have ready for kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's fine what you did there. Especially when MF ulti was already used, so your ult has less effect anyway. You're getting a free flash of the Caitlyn here is fine. Your Quinn just got popped.
That was a preemptive disengage ult. I knew that I wasn't gonna get anything, but I just thought that they would go harder on the MF.
I think if Caitlyn doesn't flash there, I think she probably dies. So I think it's fine what you did.
Not with my items.
Well, not from you solely, but yeah, MF would have been able to follow up, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is Hex Tech Soul, and if they get this, it's basically GG. And it's basically GG, yeah.
Yeah, no, they get it.
Yeah. So there's no basically no way you come back into the game. You get caught mid trying to play out the wave. So yeah, I mean, like, this is, I don't know, like, this is probably one of my more upsetting coaching sessions that I've done, because I can totally see, like, if I'm going to be blunt, you should be plat or emerald yourself. I think you're wanting to do, should I say, a lot of the right things. The mechanical stuff in the lane is almost there. You just need to work on like not feeling forced to have to use your E. Like, remember, once your E is down, that's the only defensive thing that you got in lane before your ulti. You can't just keep throwing it out like the way that you are. It's better to wait for the engage and then use it on the enemy AD carry and turn it like that. But when you were, whether or not, if it was accident or not, having your E ready, when the Nautilus made the mistakes, you did a fantastic job landing your root on the target that's doing the damage. So the Caitlyn and anyone else that's going to follow up. Okay, so you did a really good job there. I want you to keep doing that. I want you to, if you're going to continue playing duo, it doesn't even matter if you're duo or not, you need to just go with your gut instincts more in terms of like recalling, resetting timers, You know you shouldn't be holding onto as much gold as you are, but you are. If your AD carry doesn't reset, you just say, I'm going to reset. And if you die by yourself, that's it. That's whatever. It's on you. We should be resetting. I'm going to roam if you're not going to reset, and until you then go back into lane, because you're just literally just holding all of this gold in your inventory. But because it could be 10 million gold in your inventory, but because you haven't gone back to the shop to actually buy the items, you have no power from that.
Yeah, the enemy team dying actually is ahead of us because they get to buy. We still had in our first backs. It was the second time. No, sorry. In our first backs, we had like full items to buy, which is pretty bad. Like I backed the first time after I finished my item.
Yeah.
Like fully finished.
Yeah, that's just wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be happening at all. I think from the outside perspective, not sounding too harsh or whatever, your AD carry is just being very disrespectful to the people that they're playing with, thinking that they're much superior to them. That's the play style I'm getting the vibes from. I see it like in Diamond or whatever, when people like Challenger and playing AD carry, they're just like, they may be good mechanically and stuff, but then they also are the ones that are more likely to int, because they're just disrespecting so much. And also, yeah, I think your moving around the map and stuff and generally was pretty good too. I think you need to brush up on the warding a little bit, and you need to brush up on your items a little bit. The items are definitely like, you know,
Yeah, the items are not
setting
good.
you.
Yeah.
The items are definitely setting you back a little bit. That wasn't really the issue here. Honestly, it wasn't really the item issues. So, the only one giga mistake that I saw throughout the entire time, which I'd say probably was your fault, was the positioning around the dragon that we discussed. About you killing wards still and then not taking part in champion combat and then pathing in the wrong way to take part in the fight.
Yeah, when the brand got hooked by the Nautilus. Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit better brushing up on the warding, a bit of better laning phase holding onto E rather than just feeling like you have to press it.
Mm-hmm.
Just trust your instincts more and try not to get baited in by other players. At least from what I've seen this game, 90%, 80% of the game, 90% of the game you're playing. You have the right mindset of what you're wanting to do. It's just that you get pulled away and it ends up being bad play after bad play because of that.
Yeah. Yep.
So whether it's something that you just need to do solo queue with, or like not be duo, or if it's you're going to need a bit more of a voice on the conversations on the channel, like just because the person, I don't know, like I don't know what the perspective is between the both of you, so I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but like
Oh, no. It's for me. This is not my usual playstyle. This is my playstyle after not having played for a long time. I'm not certain in my decision making because I doubt myself. Because I am playing, being aware that my items aren't good, that I'm rusty with my skill shots, that the map has changed, and I don't really know exactly where to ward. I have a bit of an idea because I watch your stream, but I don't really have a lot of practice in doing that myself, and that makes a huge difference for me. So it's me not being certain because I haven't played enough. But yeah.
Yeah, I think apart from items, I think you're honestly, I think you're on the right track in order to climb significantly. So don't doubt yourself anymore. Yeah. I think you just need to just have, you are like, the general basics of League has always been the same, like the reset timers and stuff. Just trust yourself. As soon as you start queuing, like getting close to 1,000 gold in inventory, you should be asking, like, what am I, like, if that's happening still after this coaching session, you need to kind of figure out what is causing that and why you're not recalling and resetting as much as you should be. Being a bit anal about the enemy taking like one turret plate or something is like isn't a valid excuse for not spending like 4,000 gold worth of inventory between two of you. Yeah. Is there any other questions or anything else that you'd like to have intel on?
No, I just want to say thank you. I think getting this coaching in the beginning of the season, or at the beginning of the season for me, is really helpful because it kind of helps me in my decision making. It kind of it helps me, if even just to have more confidence in my decisions. But it's really really good to have that information. And just thank you for the help with the items. I'm
That's
fully
fine.
aware that my build was very bad. Um, yeah, even if that, like, there's a bunch of things that I'm getting out of this coaching session. So yeah, just thank you.
No, it's yeah. Just just keep at it, honestly. Like I think honestly, like from the stuff that I've seen, and if you did the right decision making when you wanted to do them, I would have thought that you were like an emerald player yourself, honestly. Like I don't know if that's what your goal is in the season, but like I thought like you'd easily be emerald, maybe low diamond, honestly. Like the decision making stuff that you wanted to do was fine. Probably the one thing that I'd say overall wasn't diamond was your warding. So you just maybe warding is probably like a little bit lower than that.
Mm-hmm.
So just the focus of maybe like the most important placement for ward is the singular most important ward is the one in the mid lane past laning phase. Just to see rotations, whether it's a defensive mid lane ward or an aggressive mid lane ward, depending on the state of the game, gives you a lot of information. I tell this like everyone that I do a coaching session with, but it's really, really, really important. Other than that, you got like 2 bonus wards to somewhere usually in the river, or maybe depending on the champion that you're playing, like a deeper one towards like a buff camp so that you can see where the jungle's doing something. But it's
Yeah.
always a bit riskier to do, and a bit more experience is required for stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like I'm I'm fairly confident that you'll climb if you keep at it, as long as you do the things I said.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. And thank you for paying for a coaching session. I hope it helps.
absolutely.
All right. All the best. Take care,
All the
plants.
best. Thank you, Bizzle.
Bye.
Bye.